Hello, beautiful friends. So, if you've been wondering about times in your life when you feel like your intuition perhaps didn't give you the heads up, or maybe that you missed something and you experienced something in your life and life presents you with a scenario and you're wondering like, wow, how did I miss that? How did my intuition get that wrong? Or how did I not know that? How did I not see that coming? I want to share with you a channeled vision I was given during one of my sessions recently that I think really helps to illustrate this point. And it has to do with the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And the divine masculine and feminine, as you guys know, ad nauseum with all of my videos from the beginning of time. I always recommend watching my videos for your aspects of self that are both masculine and feminine, your inner masculine and feminine energies. I know, yes, many of you watch my videos for relationship dynamics, romantic and otherwise. But really, as you know, I have always been the stickler on watching my videos primarily to get the most out of them for your inner soul journey. But at the same time, I know many of you watch this for specific dynamics. So in a situation where you are questioning the fact that you maybe were going along in your life and suddenly something happens, and you're like, how did I not know that? Or how did I not see that coming? Did my intuition fail me? There is an interplay between the divine masculine and the divine feminine that is highly important to understand. And that has to do around the wisdom and the knowing and the understanding. And I'm going to give you the story from the channeled session I did, which was a parable. And I was shown a divine masculine walking through a jungle. He was walking through a jungle and he encountered this crazy big snake. It's like anaconda sized snake that was huge. And of course, he at first comes across this snake and he's freaked out because this snake is bigger than life. It's bigger than a school bus, right? And the man and the snake have this encounter, and it turns out they're just both very curious. Turns out the snake's a nice snake. It's not an evil snake, right? But the masculine learns a bunch of lessons through this encounter with the snake, where at first he was really defensive and guarded, and then he was curious, and then the snake was curious about him. And I don't know, hang with me here. I'm getting to the point of this. So the masculine had this experience that was scary, but then he discovered something about himself, but then all this stuff. And then he leaves the snake and goes back through the jungle to his hut. And at the hut is his divine feminine, the sacred feminine. And she's sitting there, she's preparing some food, and he comes over and he's like, you're not going to believe what I just encountered. And she's looking at him and she's like, really? Like, what did you encounter? And he goes, I came across this huge snake and da da da. He tells the whole story and he's given the whole thing. And she's listening to him and she's like, oh yeah, that snake. I know that snake. And he goes, what? You knew this big, crazy, scary snake was out there and you didn't tell me? And she goes, yeah, I did. I've come across that snake before. Snake's very friendly, whatever. And he goes, how could you not tell me that? He says, I was freaked out and you could have saved me a whole heck of a lot of angst and upset. And she says, because you were supposed to learn something. And so he sits back and then he goes and he sits on a rock kind of away from where she is. And he starts to think. And he gets super emotional about like really understanding the magnitude of what he just experienced. And so I share this story because as you, hopefully by now you know, but if you're new to my channel, this is new for you. You understand that the feminine aspect of self, the divine feminine, is the one with the wisdom, is tapped into the higher levels of consciousness, is tapped into the archives, the ancient wisdom. It is the sacred feminine side of self that is more attuned to the knowledge, the guidance that the divine has. The masculine is the side that oftentimes will listen to the guidance of the feminine, or at least seek the guidance of the feminine. But this was a scenario where she didn't even give him a heads up, right? And so you may be feeling like you were this guy going on in your life and you encountered something that was really scary. You worked through it. You were like, that was perplexing. And then you go back and you ask your inner feminine, like, well, how did you not tell me? Because spirit sometimes has to have you experience things in order to learn and to grow. You might be the most highly intuitive person in the planet, connected to source, channeling, do the work, and you will still not be given the heads up because you're meant to learn something. And so translate this into an actual relationship dynamic. Many people here on my channel are in the initial stages of sacred union with a partner that has also done their deep level of work. And this can apply also in the realm of parenting. This can apply in the realm of professional, like at work situations. This doesn't have to just apply to relationships. But there is this perception sometimes that if I am the wise one, I have had my own personal experiences. Like in this story, the feminine had already encountered the snake in her experience. And she learned through her experience that the snake wasn't scary, but she was scared. She had the same experience that the masculine did, but she got there ahead of time. She had it happen like 2 weeks ago. But she also had the wisdom to know not to give the masculine the heads up, because she had the wisdom to understand that it had to be something he experienced for himself. And the wisdom of the sacred feminine, when we're talking about your inner masculine and feminine, is often it's like the divine and your guidance and your guides having the wisdom to know they can't tell you everything. They can't give you the heads up on everything. You're not supposed to know what's around the next corner every single time. If you're supposed to know, you will know. If you're supposed to be given a heads up, you will be given a heads up. But there are times where you won't be given a heads up, and you're meant to be going through experiences where you are surprised, where you learn and you grow. And so if you think your intuition is failing you, think again. This is the divine lovingly helping you along your soul growth journey. And so when you're applying this, for example, in real life, whether you're a parent or whether you're coming into sacred union with a partner, and maybe you consider yourself more the divine feminine in your core essence, right? So real world scenario, you're getting into a relationship, you've been on a spiritual journey for a long time. This person who's done a lot of work, but maybe hasn't been as much on the spiritual path consciously as you have been. You might be tempted to try to share your wisdom with this other person, all the things you learned on your journey. Hey, this, and because it has been your journey, but it is also, secondly, very important point in this video, is the masculine learns different lessons differently than the feminine does. And so while the feminine has the wisdom to know how she experienced her journey, her teaching the masculine through words, through expression of this is how it is, and this is what I figured out. It's like, don't do that. Because that is distorted ego, feminine energy of feeling like you want to be the teacher. You want to share the wisdom you have learned on your journey. You feel like, well, I went through my journey, and if I can help someone shortcut their journey, that'll be great. But in a sacred partnership, you know, there's times where you can see what's coming. She knew that this guy was likely going to encounter this big snake because it's right near where he goes hunting all the time, right? She knew he would encounter it, or at least it was a high probable chance he would. And she knew it was not her place to give him the heads up, because had she told him, you know what, there's a really big ass snake over there, and you might be really scared when you see it, but don't worry, it's a friendly snake. The reason she knows not to say that is because she doesn't know if the guy's going to reach the snake that she reached, if he comes across the snake she came across, or if he's going to come across a snake that's actually dangerous. And so if she tells him, oh, don't worry about that snake, it's friendly, and he encounters a totally different snake, he could end up dead because it could be a dangerous snake, right? And I laughed when my guides gave me this vision in my session because it was it was very cartoonish in a lot of ways, but it wasn't showing it as a cartoon. And ironically, guys, in this vision, it was this big yellow, and I'm wearing yellow right now, massive snake. And so the feminine knew not to tell him that, to try to shortcut his journey, because he could have ended up in a real whole heap of trouble if she gave him the heads up, and it wasn't the heads up he was going to, because he was taking a different path. He could have gone a different route that she had no idea about, and he would have come across the bad snake in the forest, in the jungle. So just know, guys, if you are in it, for example, a parent, and parents know this, you know, there's times where you can see that your child is likely going to encounter a situation, but you know you can't teach it to them. They have to learn it for themselves. And that's very hard to do. Because we love people, we care about them, we want to help them not experience the ups and the downs and the challenges that we've experienced. But true sacred feminine energy understands that everybody has their own journey and their own timeline. And while she may have immense wisdom, she also has the discernment to know that it's not her role to teach everybody else in a way that shortcuts their learning. And I'm laughing because, of course, I'm here teaching stuff on a video here. But there are many things that I have been shown over the years I've been doing this, where my guides have shown me things that I'm meant to understand and I'm meant to see, so that I can do my mission work and to guide the collective in a specific way. But I'm also not supposed to share it. There are things I'm sharing on my channel now that I was shown 5 years ago. But I was also shown not to share it because it would have caused a lot of people to not learn it for themselves. So, my loves, I hope you like my ridiculous story because my guides give me this stuff all the time as really important lessons. And I hope that this helps you understand that if you are in initial stages of sacred union, if you are a parent, if you are even a boss, or a boss, it might be a little different because there's financial repercussions if somebody goes and makes a really costly mistake. So that's not the best example, but you guys get my point. So with that, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, hit the notifications bell. Also, join my inner circle where I do share more videos like this. I don't send emails out that often. It's literally not even once a month at this point. But I do share things there that I don't post on my channel periodically. And also that's where I can send some other announcements where you're the first to hear even some special offers on some of my programs. So if you haven't joined my inner circle, the link is down below. It's a free membership where I post other things that I don't quite post out here on the World Wide Web. And until next time, I send you guys love. Bye.